Hello, Chameleon Academy. Welcome. It is time for, let me get all this set up. No, don't look over there. Oh, that's the back of my camera. Oh, that's not good. That's right. I use mosquito bites. All right, everybody. I'm just give me a second to get myself together here. Looks like I'm a mess today. I don't know. Is my hair even proper? Well, everybody, if you've just joined us, obviously this is some days are better than others. But this is a live show that happens every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. And if you're watching the replay, you can be part of the audience just by showing up and being and joining in. This is a open chameleon question and answer session where I answer questions about chameleons. And these are the office hours. Office hours for the Chameleon Academy. Go ahead and ask whatever you want about chameleons. So everybody's wondering, where's the boss? Yeah, okay. A couple of minutes. Things were going haywire, a little bit out of hand here, and for some reason I had to change anyway, you don't need to know. Let's just say I was working hard and not getting far. All right. So what we're going to do today is I am going to say hello to everybody, and then I am going to answer chameleon questions as they come. So if you've got a question about chameleons, put it in the chat. If I go off on a long monologue, just know that I will get around to what's in the chat sooner or later. So RC Quarreler is asking, why don't mine eat superworms, hornworms, only crickets? That's usually everybody has the opposite problem, but RC Crowler comes in and says, hey, wait, what's wrong with mine? Okay, so why do chameleons get picky? Well, chameleons are just like human beings, and they have tastes, and they decide, okay, I really like X. Usually it's not crickets, but sometimes they won't eat dubias. A lot of times they just like superworms. So this is why I'm laughing at your situation. Now, what is this from? Well, chameleons are just like human beings. We all have our favorite foods, and they may decide they just like crickets. They are probably raised on crickets, and so that's what they know, and that's what they're comfortable with. Now, there could be other reasons, such as they could have been bitten by a superworm. Chameleons are smart and they learn. And if they get bitten by a superworm, they may avoid eating that anymore because they learned. Hornworms are strange. I had a Meller's chameleon that was so threatened by a hornworm that he would just flap and flare. So sometimes hornworms, until they have that first hornworm, once they have their first hornworm, then it's over. Then they know what's going on. But before that, it's like they don't know what to make of it. So there's a number of reasons why a chameleon can want just one feeder. Now, keep in mind that if it's not a mental trauma because they were bitten by a feeder insect and where was it going like that? I literally just lost my train of thought. Okay. If they get and if there's no other emotional trauma reason why they are avoiding others, it could be because they're not hungry and they're just eating for the fun of it. Maybe they just like the taste of crickets. Kind of like ice cream. We can eat ice cream when we're not hungry. We can eat something that we think tastes good when we're not hungry, and we do it just for the fun of eating. That's what chameleons do a lot of times. This is very common in captivity, that they have eaten enough. They don't burn a whole lot of calories running in their cage. If they're happy with their cage, they're just sitting there and they're as happy as can be. So they're not burning a whole lot of calories. And we often feed them too much. And so they stop eating because they're hungry. And then they eat only when they feel like getting those eating endorphins. It's kind of like when we snack on things through the day, even though we've had our meals. It's not healthy, but it's fun to eat stuff, and we get little endorphins when we eat stuff, and or dopamine. I don't know what it is. We get little pleasure signals when we eat things. That's why it's so easy to get overweight. So it could be any one of those things. Take a look at what you're doing. I am thinking that the most likely scenario is that he's just not hungry, and what he eats is just for fun. So try out those different scenarios and see if you really want him to eat superworms or hornworms, then don't feed crickets for a couple of days and see if a little bit of hunger inspires him to try something different. A lot of times people are trying to do this with dubia because chameleons sometimes don't go for dubia and you have to train them. So lots of, there you go. Any other question on that, just let me know in the chat. I'm going to try to catch up with the chat because, boy, that's an example of me talking and just going on, and the whole chat keeps going. So, Mike says Tuesday show is great while sitting in traffic. You know what? I am proud to be part of that as someone who had a 45-minute to an hour and a half commute one way every day. Having a good thing to have in the car while you're driving was a lifesaver. Sakshamungo, hello. Hey. All right. Okay, I got through Casey Crawler there. Okay, we got some people. Okay. How's Squishy? We can ask about Dorito tomorrow night. Yeah, okay. So Squishy, he comes out every now and then. He doesn't come out during the late afternoon. He's a morning dude now. Squishy is a chameleon that came out and made an appearance in the show and became famous, but now he doesn't come out in the late afternoons. He only comes out in the morning. So, well, let me see. Oh, Squish. There he is. There's Squishy. All right, let's see if we can help with the focus here. Anyway, and yes, he is still way smaller than he should be. Have no idea why. Although I did check, he did have flagellated protozoa, but I did a check later, and he is done with flagellated protozoa. So let's hope he grows. But that doesn't explain why the entire clutch is small. I don't know what's going on. And they are actually in 3 different setups, from indoors to outdoors and different size cages. And so I'm trying different things to figure out what's going on. I don't know why they're not growing. They're eating, they're pooping. I'm feeding the crickets. They're getting heat. In fact, it's been so warm outside with some of them. So I can't explain this one, but I'm keep working on it. Keep working on it. And Dorito, yeah, we can do Dorito tomorrow night. Okay, congratulations, Marsha Ann and Don Julio getting his second fenbendazole dose. Just for the heck of it, you can say fenbendazole is a 2-dose medicine. And so when you do the second dose, you've done the last dose. Oh, hey, Primo. What size crickets are you feeding them? I am feeding them 2-week crickets. And they did not graduate from 1-week crickets for a while. I kept trying to get them to get onto 2-week crickets. I kept pushing. They would stay with their fruit flies. I had to take the fruit flies out because I wanted to put some weight on them. And they slowly got onto 1-week crickets, and slowly now I've seen them take the 2-week crickets, and I've got 2-week crickets all over in there. So I've never had a clutch of chameleons be slow to go to larger food. I've had individuals be slower to go to larger food, but not an entire clutch. So something is common within this clutch, and I don't know who the parents are. So this was a wild-caught female. So I can't give a background, and actually I don't know about the incubation either. I don't know much at all other than that they exist and they hatched over a couple of months period, but they should be subadult by now. So anyway, kind of like the fun things we like to figure out. I mean, the brevicorn that I did, they had no problem. They just shot up and became little monsters. So maybe I've lost my ability to raise panther chameleons. Tell you. All right. Well, is 2-week quarter inch? Yeah, about that. And the things, my 2-week, yeah. Well, yes, and you know what it means when it's there's a wide variety of sizes, but that's about the quarter inch. Yeah, and if you have any ideas, I'm all ears. Oh no, Renee says the journey with the wild-caught Linotum has ended. It's been an amazing adventure. We learned a lot. Sad but beautiful. Renee, oh, I'm very sad to hear that. Very sad. I'm sorry. By the way, if you guys all want to know why I was late starting the show today, it's because I got poop. That's right. And before the YouTube wants to censor me, I'm talking about a fecal sample from a chameleon. So don't block my channel. I just got in some panther chameleons that need a little rehabilitation. They have some a variety of issues that I am cataloging, but I'm going to be working on deparasitizing and working through some of their issues and try to rehabilitate them. So always got to be exciting. Always got to be excited about getting a fecal sample. Sakshumungo says, please check my question. Oh, you got a question. Let's see. Question. Okay, Sakshumungo says, I've seen my new baby panther bite some branches in his enclosure. He really goes at it. He rips. Okay, I've seen some behavior. Usually chameleons will taste the branches, and so they're just getting an idea of their surroundings. I've seen chameleons attack the branches. I have no idea why they're attacking a branch. And for them to be attacking it voraciously, I don't know why he's doing that. And so just keep an eye on him and figure out why he's doing it. There's nothing about that screams, oh no, there's something wrong. It just seems like it's a strange behavior. And it's within the normal realm of strange behaviors. I mean, chameleons have the normal behaviors that we expect, and then they have kind of like the halo of strange behaviors. And this would be in that halo of strange behaviors that are, well, that's kind of strange, but it's not okay. That's a problem, if that makes sense. So yeah, keep watching and let me know what's going on. Give me an update next week. Let's figure out what's going on with this guy. James 3 says, my panther's on a dubia strike right now. I'm lucky if I can get him to eat once every few days. So, okay, Terry is saying, when a chameleon or a reptile first words into a... We're going to try that again, Terry. I'm going to check in with you and see if we... you know what? I speak autocorrect. But that's in a dialect I'm not familiar with. So, KC Crowler says, can loud noise cause stress, like kids laughing loud? Mine is constantly in the living room. I had them since Father's Day. Okay, chameleons, they do have ears, but they have hearing mechanisms, but the hearing mechanisms are sealed inside their head. And so we really don't know what kind of hearing they have. I would generally say that they're not bothered by noises, with a caveat. Noises are vibrations, and they can feel vibrations. And some chameleons actually kind of, we think they communicate with vibrations. So just because they're not hearing like we are doing doesn't mean they're not detecting the sound. The best thing for you to do is watch their behavior and see how they change when your kids are laughing loud in the room. And if there's a reaction, then you know, okay, maybe I ought to block off that visual of the kid. Now, somebody may argue and say, oh, well, maybe he's seeing the kid and reacting to seeing the kid, and it's not that he's hearing the kid. And I would say maybe, but it doesn't matter. All we know is that there's a reaction, whether it's sight, smell, or hearing, or telekinesis. It doesn't, or telepathy, telekinesis, I don't know. It doesn't matter. If he's reacting to something going on, then you know it's affecting him. So it's a good thing to check. I mean, generally speaking, I haven't noticed chameleons reacting to sounds. They're very, very visual. So, but I don't think that we all know for sure that they don't. Because they have, I know they have some hearing mechanisms in there. It's like it's not, maybe it's not plugged in. I don't know. Or else it's evolutionarily on the way out. When a chameleon or reptile is first moved into a new enclosure, how long does it take them to get used to it? And this is from Terry, and this is different from all individuals, and it really depends on their confidence level and what every reptile is going to be looking for security and safety. And when they get into the cage, that's the first thing that they're looking for. And if they can find it, they go there, or else they just crawl around and round and round and around because they want to find the best secure area. But after about 24 hours, they should settle. They should have found the best place, because of course we're all giving them the best cages possible, and so that means that there's hiding places. So within 24 hours they should find that hiding place, and they should hang out there until they understand the world around them. If they're wild caught, they've got to understand what a cage is. If they're captive hatched, then they've got to understand what the new situation is. And this isn't, for a chameleon, this isn't that stressful. It's not like they have a home, and when they change homes, they don't know what to do. They do not seem, I have not noticed, and I don't know of anybody who has said that chameleons get homesick, that I think this is my personal interpretation, and I can't, no chameleon will answer me when I ask them, but I believe what they do is they look for areas of safety. And they stick around areas of safety. I mean, especially if they feel hidden and food is around, they're not moving. And I think they just stay there until there's a reason to move. But I don't think they get attached to a certain area. I think they just enjoy the security, feelings of security. So it's generally 24 hours for a chameleon. That's my average that I come up with. Oh. All right, going through the chat here. I have been tasked to release oh my goodness, that was 12 minutes ago. Oh gosh, I am so behind in the chat. All right, everybody. Last time I said that I was going to give a little bit more on the camera, so I'm going to change the camera so I'm way down here. You can all see. What are we doing? We are releasing the fog. We are releasing the fog. Spearmint is not in this cage yet. I want one more fecal before I put him in. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Right now, it's just in there for the plants to get them nice Actually, I do this just for the show now. But as soon as I get that one last fecal from Spearmint, then he's going to go in here. Spearmint is a Shamrock Chameleon. Most of you know Spearmint. And the reason why is because this is obviously bioactive. And Spearmint has Entamoeba coli, which was identified by a professional lab. And if you guys remember the difference between the entamoebas are single-cell protozoa parasites. Well, okay. Entamoeba invadens is a parasite. Entamoeba coli is a commensal. Now, what does that mean? These are two single-cell protozoa. Invadens will eat into the intestinal lining, and it can go into the bloodstream. It can get to the liver. It can keep eating in the liver, and it can keep going there and start eating in the brain. Entamoeba invadens is bad news. Entamoeba coli just hangs out at the vent and just eats poop. So you get a bunch of these cysts under the microscope, and you think, oh my gosh, there's so many parasites. No, that's Entamoeba coli. He's just hanging out at the vent eating poop. We don't care. He can live. That's fine. But their cysts are so similar to each other that you need a professional to ID, which I have. And I said it was coli, so I shouldn't worry about it, right? Yeah. As long as they didn't make a mistake, as long as they didn't just put down the first Entamoeba that was in the list on their computer. So, yeah, you got to trust your professionals, but we're talking about my bioactive cage. So I decided I'm just going to remove all of the Entamoeba coli, supposedly coli, and then be totally safe. Now you're saying, but Bill, well, I come to your live sessions. You keep saying how you don't like to play Footloose and Fancy Free with metronidazole flagyl because it can cross the blood-brain barrier. It gets into all the liquids, fluids in the body, and it can really mess up a chameleon if done wrong. So I am hesitant to use it, and that's why I haven't used it for this year and a half that he's been in quarantine, and he's shown no signs of lethargy, which he would if it were Entamoeba invadens. So I've got all of this evidence saying this is not a parasitic Entamoeba, but I put a lot of work into that bioactive environment. I don't feel like taking chances. So that's the story. That's the story. Okay, Casey Crawler is saying, when I first got him, he ate from my finger and still does, but now he doesn't like for me to get him any more hissing at me, but once he is in my hand, he's fine. Yeah, don't put him in your hand. Just leave him in the cage and let him zap crickets and feeders from your hand while he's in the cage. If you put him on your hand, then he's got to figure out, what is this hand? And too often, people who take their chameleons out and put their chameleons on their hand, they interpret the chameleon staying still as, okay, he's fine with it. He's tame now. He loves me. This kind of stuff. Where he would show the exact same outward appearance if he was scared, if he was terrified. So I'm not saying every chameleon is terrified and freeze, but a whole lot of them do, and most of them do. And so that is what's really happening when you put a chameleon on your hand and they freeze. So just avoid it and leave him in the cage so he can eat. He can sit in his cage where he's safe, and you bring the feeder to him. He zaps the feeder from your hand. You go away. That is a trust building exercise because he never loses agency. He never loses control over where he is. As soon as you put a chameleon on your hand, he loses control of his life. And so he doesn't know what's going to happen. He's in complete dependence upon you. And chameleons have no place in their evolutionary history where they've developed the concept of trusting other beings. See, that's once again, that's the thing with a dog. Why dog is so great is because they have that mental structure that says pack is good, other pack members, trust, that's survival. And that's why they're great as pets. It's because we just become part of their pack. A chameleon has absolutely no concept of companionship or trusting, having a relationship. I mean, they can trust. They can trust that you're not going to hurt them. They can trust that, hey, I'm going to get something good when this hairless ape comes around and puts their fingers up. They can trust you in that, but they don't have the part of the relationship brain that lets them make a relationship. So anyway, I think I am getting way behind in the chat. Everybody, Mikey Ben says, could Squishy be a runt of his litter? It's possible. And this, we're talking about the size of Squishy, but the entire litter, the entire clutch hatched over a number of months, but the entire clutch is growing slowly. So something happened across the clutch. Oh, Alicia got an amazing poo today. Yeah, everybody, you just got to know us chameleon people. We like chameleon poop because we check with microscopes and we figure out if there's any parasites. We're kind of like that. Janet says, mine are still on 2-week crickets, but one is on 1 week. Yeah, and it's a great idea, everybody. If you got babies and you just push them to go to larger and larger feeder size, and they grow very quickly. I don't know what's up with these guys. But they look all healthy. I mean, literally, they are all healthy. They look greatly formed. They're alert. They're pooping. They're eating. So, once again, you've heard me talk about this all along. I'm still trying to figure it out. How can I be involved? Sean, how would you like to be involved? What do you mean by involved? If you want to ask a question, you just type in the chat and you're asking a question. But do you mean involved in something else? Go ahead and put it in the chat. And everybody know that I am right now 15 minutes behind in the chat. So if you put a question or something 15 minutes ago, I am just now getting into it. So I'm gonna try to get through the chat here. So try to catch up. And if I skip your question, please be understanding. Justin got his steam cleaner in today. Everybody, we love steam cleaners because that's what kills Coccidia oocysts. Don't use it on chameleons, though. Yes. Flick, welcome from Ireland. Mason's Turtles. Hey, glad you found us here. If you notice, we changed channels on YouTube. So, Wayne James won't give us Bill won't give us a fog. That's at 5:17. That was like 13 minutes ago. Oh my goodness. He hasn't gotten far enough in the chat. That's exactly right. Oh, we need to make a fog father emoji. Yes, we do. That's a great idea. Okay. Oh, well, I need to get my third enclosure up. Sadly, be a while, but it's so exciting. Any of them males? I believe so. Generally speaking, let's let you guys know something. I haven't trained myself to accurately sex panther chameleons. I have that information on my website. I have an entire podcast about it, but I have not trained myself. I made those materials for other people to train themselves because everybody wants to do it. I have not done that myself. I cannot look at. I mean, I can look at a panther chameleon, a hatchling, and I can give a guess. And I'm kind of good at it, but I don't know why. So I'm not confident in it, and I'm not trying. So I just raise them until it's unmistakable. So obviously, I would make a horrible panther chameleon breeder. Not, I mean, as far as a commercial panther chameleon breeder, I love raising the babies. But yeah, if I became a panther chameleon breeder, I would learn. I promise everybody, I would learn. See, it's all about growth. It's all about growth. Whew. Art says no chameleon will answer. Oh, yes. Yes. What does it mean when you work your butt off on a custom enclosure and when you put them in, they jerk walk for 20 minutes? The jerk that they want to do when they want to make. Well, I think they're just getting used to the enclosure. Chameleons, when they first get into an enclosure, a new enclosure, and they're learning what's going on around them, they can do unpredictable things. And maybe if he's acting, do you have any reflections in there that he could be reacting to? Generally speaking, chameleons learn that reflections aren't real chameleons or anything they have to worry about pretty quickly. But if it's the first time that they encounter one, they may react to it. So that's a possibility. Breathe that mountain fog. Oh, yes. Everybody, if you do fogging, do RO water or distilled. It smells so much better. I don't like the smell of tap water fog. I have to do it the RO and then we are such chameleon snobs here. Only the best water from my fog. Oh. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to try to get through the chat. Bill, maybe they have a dark gene. Is that possible? A dark gene. You're talking about the baby chameleons? I don't know. I really don't know. A dwarf gene? Oh, dwarf gene. I don't know. I really don't know. And, we think that the female who laid the eggs, and I haven't seen the female, was an Ambanja. But, what is the best thing to use to clean the enclosure? The best thing to do is spot clean the enclosure, and I use those wipes, those little blade. You can even use what I do is I do spot cleaning the enclosure and using really I usually do a mechanical scrub. If I think that they're, if I'm I want to be a little bit more careful, I'll use a bleach wipe. But remember, these things, those work when I'm talking about a 4-foot tall cage. So I use a squirt bottle and a bleach wipe. I wipe everything up with the bleach wipe. I squirt it down, and then I use a paper towel to wipe up any residue bleach. I don't want fumes in my cage. If it is a wild caught, then I'm a little bit more attentive to it. Involved like the chameleon. Sean, are you asking about how to interact with the chameleon to build a relationship? I'm gonna go through the chat and see if that's you mean, and if I don't find a response from you in the affirmative, I am going to answer that question as that. So, I wonder if. Yeah, everybody, I had to make 2 channels for my YouTube. I had to separate them. So if you're looking for my YouTube channel that the lives are on, it's Chameleon Academy Live. So, wonder if the female was very young female and this was her first clutch. Could that happen? Janet, I will say this is the first time in my life that I've had panther chameleons grow this slowly. And I mean, I know the tricks, and I know I am not doing anything with these guys that is like out of normal. And I know some people in the past were going, 85 degrees, that's too too cold of a basking. I've got these guys out in the California sun that is hitting the 90s. Okay, they are not. There's no problem with heat. I got as much food crawling around in there as possible without being horrible, and the food is nutritious, and they're eating. So, oh, Janet says, "Give me the babies." Oh, Sean says he wants to be involved in the rehabilitation of chameleons. Okay. Now, first of all, rehabilitation. There's a difference between rescue and rehabilitation. So we're just going to go over just a general topic here, just the subject. When you're doing a rescue, you take in chameleons that don't have a home, are out of their luck, or have a medical problem. So if you want to get involved in the rehabilitation of chameleons, there is, here we go. Here's what I love. I'll get to that. Janet says, okay, trying to think outside the box on why they would grow slowly. Maybe we can put a finger on it. And Janet, you keep thinking about that, and you keep coming up and throwing out those ideas, because you just please keep doing that. So, because you know what, it's not anything that I've already thought of. So it can be right now. I'm in the mode of what haven't I thought of? This is stretching my experience and is helping me become a better chameleon keeper as I'm figuring this thing out. So the question is, do you want to help chameleons that don't have a home, or do you want to get into trying to medically rehabilitate chameleons? Those are two different things. If you have a reptile rescue or a rescue shelter that takes reptiles, that's a good place to go and volunteer. If you want to get into actually rehabilitating chameleons like I am doing, that is going to take a whole lot of experience and a whole lot of the ability and desire to lose money. I am doing it because I am documenting these cases. I have a certain friend network that knows if there are some hard luck cases, they can send them to me, and I am okay throwing money down a pit so I can gain experience, do it as a use case, as a case to explain all of this. And I just enjoy going to the vet and talking to vets. I had a Parsons chameleon, a female, that had just mouth rot throughout the mouth, and I worked with her over 4 months, and I had to go to the vet and have surgery, have most of her dental arcade, the teeth, removed, and I was having to give her liquid food and antibiotics, and then we had to get rid of the rest of the dental arcades, and so now she was fully gummed. That chameleons can live that way, by the way. Yeah, in the wild, no, they won't live that way, but in captivity, they can live without their dental arcade. It's not fun, and you have to help them, but in captivity, that's possible. And so that's the kind of thing that I signed up for. I knew that there was a good chance that she would not make it. And if she did make it, that I was going to be hand feeding her liquid food for the rest of her life, and Parsons chameleons can live 20 years. So that's the kind of thing that you sign up for. She did not make it. She fought, and I told the vet, because the vet was saying, okay, we may want to talk about euthanasia here. And I said, as soon as she gives up, that's okay. We'll do it. But as long as she is fighting, I'm going to fight with her. And yeah, I'm going to be paying the vet bills to do that. And she lasted 4 months until she finally gave up. And yeah, it was really hard because there was just so much mouth rot. So it takes a lot to do the rehabilitation of chameleons, and it's not necessarily always a nice story to tell. So I don't usually talk about it, but everything that I learn goes into my podcasts, my videos, and my books. It will be books, and the website, and part of the education. The more I dive into this, the better I am at helping people when they have problems. So that's what I'm doing. So, all right. Casey Crawler says, thank you for all the info. Also, I had the Reptifogger. Should I get the Mist King or should I mist my hand? Everything is set on timer. Okay, Reptifogger and Mist King are two different things. One is a fogger and one is a mister. Two different, totally different hydration methods. I would use both of them. Now, I don't like the output of the Reptifogger as a fog is actually pretty good. I like it. I don't like the unit. It's got a very small reservoir for water, and yeah, I don't like it, but it does work. But it's a fogger, and if you go on my website, you learn how to fog and how it's different than misting, and they have two totally different purposes. Let's see. Although, if you need more information on that, by the way, anybody, I worked really hard on the fogging section in this book. If you like Chameleon books, you can go to chameleonacademy.com and you can pick up this book. And I spent a lot of time on trying to explain fogging. And in fact, I did some real soul-searching discussion with others. And I've got I did some new stuff in this book to explain it. And actually, I expanded my understanding of fogging. So if you're interested in the different hydration methods, this is actually the best explanation out there. I have not moved this to my website because, my goodness, it takes time to do everything. Everything takes time. Everything takes time. I have so many things on my to-do list, but it's in this book. You can buy it at chameleonacademy.com. And it's a great book. I love it. Just to be careful, just to be clear, this is actually about chameleon hatchlings, baby chameleons. The reason why I'm talking about general chameleon husbandry in here is because a number of people have come to me with an egg. And so not only do they need to know how to take care of a hatchling, they need to know how to take care of a chameleon. So I included everything in here, but just know that I included it through the lens of a baby chameleon. Okay. So some things are a little bit different. The concepts are the same between adults and the babies. The execution is a little bit different. Mikey says, maybe Lee and Amanda might have an idea about the slow growth as they work with wild-caught breeders. I've talked to Lee about this situation, and he confirms that Ambanjas are slower growers than others. Now, and maybe that's it. Maybe that is it. I just think that, I mean, I forgot. We start this in February, and so I'm kind of going on, is it February, March. So, I mean, it's not a whole lot of time, but it's still longer than I expected. I've raised Ambanjas before, but they were from the captive hatched stock. And so the captive hatched bloodlines, I consider those different than the wild caught. But yeah, Mikey, that is a possibility. I don't want to just say, okay, it's an Ambanja, so they're slow growers, because they're still, I don't want to accept the first answer unless I know that that is the reason. Because if you accept an answer, you stop looking. So I continue to look, but that is a possibility. James 3 says, I'm going to think way outside the box. Have you thought about exposing squishy to radioactive mutagen from a New York sewer? Stuff does wonders on turtles. You know, James, that stuff is so expensive. I looked on eBay. That stuff for one vial of that, it's like $500. Yeah. But I'll keep it in mind. I don't think they want to grow up when they will need to leave home. Yeah, maybe they're staying small. And by the way, it's not the cage size because I've got some of them in larger cages. Yeah. I'm literally trying everything. Mikey says, Bill, speaking of podcasts, when is the next episode? I am working on, I did it like 3 episodes and I really liked it, but then I realized I need to do something else. I got myself caught up into a new approach to podcast video, not YouTube videos that I wanted to try out for at least a couple of months. And I got myself so wrapped up in it. I think I bit off more than I can chew, but I'm going to power through this for reference sake, because we're all friends here. The next YouTube video that I was doing is going to be about putting together a bioactive cage. I just got the rough edit back because I'm working with an editor on this one. It's at an hour long, 55 minutes right now. So I'm looking at this going, my goodness, what did I do to myself? This is not natural. So let's just say that I dreamed big and it's becoming quite the project. But once I'm done with this, I will reevaluate my life. I will see how well this video does and how much people like it. And if they really like it, I think I can do a video a month at this level. If people look at it and say, yeah, whatever, I will not do this again. I will tell you that I will not do this again. So we'll see how it goes. I hope to be done by, I don't know if I can be done by this week, but at least by next week, and I will release it to the world and we'll discuss it. I will be discussing it amongst my inner circle here saying, was this worth it? Was this worth it? So we'll see. Oh, Renee. So today I was popping, everybody, Renee just had ankle surgery. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and read this. So today I was popping wheelies on my knee scooter and I went face first on the asphalt. Got some road rash. Marsha was rolling her eyes and shaking her head. Okay, that's a great story, but you better still make it to the 10th anniversary. Don't be doing anything that's going to get you in the hospital, right? Oh, okay. Well, got taken to urgent care. Yeah, that's appropriate. So Nate says, hour-long videos I love. Okay, well, Nate's on board. I watch like 2-hour plant video. Okay. All right. Well, Nate is on board. We're going to see if everybody else is. I used to do the Chameleon hour where I literally did an hour of, I'm sure you know about that. And the thing is, it didn't do well. I didn't get good retention, and it didn't have any more views than the normal 7 to 10 minute videos. And so I looked at that and I said, I am okay. The thing is, whatever I decide to put my effort to, I don't have time to put my effort anywhere else. So if I decide to do hour-long videos, which I absolutely love, and I can do one a month and make it really awesome, then I'm not doing anything else. If I do a weekly podcast, then I'm not doing anything else. And so, if I'm working on a book, as you guys know, I don't do anything else. So I'm running into the limits of being human. I hate it. And I wish there was a cure for that. But the fact is, I keep bumping into my limitations. And it's a lot of fun because I come up with a lot of really cool stuff and I try things that are different. But once again, it's that being human thing that's a real pain in the butt. All right, Janet's on board. Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay, we got 2 votes. Well, let's see when you actually see them. And we will all reconvene after I release this video and we will say, okay, was it worth it for our Chameleon Academy resources to be put towards that instead of a weekly podcast, instead of even the newsletters are slowing down because I'm really working on this and everything is connected. It's kind of like doing a bioactive environment where everything is connected. See? Bioactive environment, it is an analogy for life. Or content creation is an analogy for life. I noticed a lot of content creators are frustrated making long form videos. Retention is negative. Yeah, everybody, YouTube is going through a change, and a lot of YouTubers are like hitting the wall, and they're saying, okay, where do I go from here? It's hard to pivot when your audience wants only one thing, but if you keep doing one thing, you're going to run out of things to do in that one style. So I do know a lot of YouTubers. We have private conversations talking about the situation of being a content creator. Now, I know you all know I do a lot on YouTube, but I'm not a YouTuber. So there's a huge difference between using YouTube as a tool for your outreach and being a YouTuber. It's not that one is better than the other. They're just 2 separate approaches. And for me, because I have the Chameleon Academy and I have different parts of that outreach, I have the option to, okay, I've missed a month of YouTube videos. I missed a month of podcasts, but I'm creating this. I have live shows. I have 3 live shows plus the Reptile Show Reporter every week. So that's my thing. That's the one thing that I am consistent of. You need something. You need something that you're consistent at. No matter what you do, you have to be consistent at something. And so for me, it's the live sessions. I have chosen that as my consistent showing up for the community. That means that my podcast, my YouTube, everything, Instagram, everything else can take a break while I pivot and I try to figure something out. You see, I was doing certain Chameleon videos and they just weren't breaking through. You notice on my channel, a lot of them, they're just like sub 100 views. And when that happens, sub 1,000 views, sorry. So between, 400 and 800 views, which is not bad. That's pretty good. But I've been doing this I'm on YouTube for 7 years. When did I start? It was in 2016, 2017, something like that was my first video. I can't be doing a weekly video and not growing. Now, I think one of the problems was that my channel was just all over the place. I had live sessions, I had shorts, I had long form, and for some reason that didn't jive, that didn't work. So I'm still exploring what's going on. Anyway, but yeah, Mikey, there is a lot of frustration out there. We had a burst, an amount of time, like 5 years, where a certain strategy worked and people were successful in that strategy. But the world, social media especially, changes. And once people get used to a certain strategy, they start looking for something different. And then not only does that cause your growth to slow down, but then there's different policies at YouTube. Yeah. If you're going to be a content creator, doing what I do, you got to always be on and learning and willing to pivot. Short form video, I tried really hard to pivot to that. I can do it. I just never liked it. So, but you have to try it. You have to pivot. And there's a problem when you become good at one thing and that becomes your home. You need to become an expert in that one home. So if you're a YouTuber, you've got to be an expert in YouTube, and you've got to change as YouTube changes. You can't just keep doing what you've always been doing. You have to watch the trends. You have to be on all times. Make sure you do chapters and longer videos for some people. Yeah, I've been thinking about, yes, there will be chapters. And in fact, I actually did this in chapters. And so it is starting as a chapter format. And on screen, you're going to see chapter 2. And so there'll be distinct chapters through this. And I'm thinking about putting a chapter bar at the bottom of the screen so you know where you are on the whole within the video, and you don't have to look at the description. So yes, you will see a chapter structure, and that's actually how I had to do it. So I could keep things, something of this size, it's got to have some sort of structure. Alicia says, I can't even pull myself away from YouTube. Been considering canceling my Netflix. I'm always down with longer content. Okay. And by the way, everybody, this is one of the things that's changing on YouTube. People are now, it used to be that people were watching it on mobile or on computer, and then they're watching it on mobile, and now they're watching it on large screen TVs. And so you have to consider, okay, the changing viewing habits of people. And so, we all have to keep in mind, people are doing things differently. They're watching on TV, they're watching on their phone at the same time. So, everything's always changing. Geraldine says, I'm really bad at watching videos. Actually, me too. I make these videos, but I'm bad at watching videos. I mostly just listen to stuff while I'm doing something else. I'll definitely try to watch your video too, though. Thank you very much, and give me some feedback. But you know what? I'm right there with you. I actually put on YouTube videos in my headset while I'm out working with chameleons. And so I don't watch as much, because when you're watching, it's like you've got to stop. My ADHD brain, I think I am, and not officially diagnosed, but I think I am, doesn't like to sit and watch things because that's like wasting time. Oh, maybe that's the entrepreneurial addiction to whatever entrepreneurial stuff gives you. Mikey says, the lives are really special. Anything can happen. Yes. And it's a magical moment we can all share together. You know what? I love this. Yes, you're absolutely correct. And that's the way I feel. Lives, for some reason, they don't grow quickly. If you want to do live sessions, get ready to slog. I mean, it takes years and years to build up a live audience. And it's a completely different skill. I had to learn a completely different skill to do lives. And actually, that was a weakness of mine, being able to just think off the top of my head. That was such a weakness. That's why I started my first live, because I couldn't do it. And it was frustrating me. So I just picked up Instagram and I said, I'm now live. And I forced myself to talk for I was originally going to do it for a half hour, but I ended up doing it for an entire hour. And I committed to doing it every week, even if nobody was there. And for a while, it was only like 5 people, but then it's just started growing, and some magic happened. A community, actually. I didn't expect there to be a community, but a community arose. And once I started seeing the same people coming back, and then I started hearing about people that got cranky. If people like James saying, everybody knows that Tuesday nights he's watching this live session, and he gets cranky if people interrupt him. Thinking, okay, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting this kind of dynamic. And it's one of those things to say, this is special. This is very special. It is building community, and I do not care if it doesn't grow in views and all that kind of stuff. This is building something beyond the typical digital candies that they give you of views and stuff. This is building a strong community, so strong that people are flying from different parts of the country to come meet everybody in August 9th, coming up within a month. We're going to do it. That's how special this community is. So yeah, Mikey, this is incredible. And it's one of those things that you just got to create a space for it to happen. You can't force it to happen. And once it starts happening, you just got to keep feeding it, but you can't control it. You've got to guide it, make sure it stays within the bounds, but this kind of thing, this community building, it's not something you can control. If you try to control it, it's like a garden. It's going to grow how it's going to grow. Just make sure you fertilize it and water it and give it sunlight and give it everything good stuff, or else it grows badly. So let's see. Mikey says, my wife lives on YouTube. On the big screen, well, I get the lives. Win-win. Yeah, that works. That's right. Oh, yes. Never forget that moment when you found the Brevicorn hatch. Your excitement was priceless. Everybody, I don't know if you remember. I mean, it's on, I forget when it was, but I was showing every single live, Tuesday and Saturday. We would check the Brevicorn eggs, and I would do it live. And I checked earlier that day, they hadn't hatched. And so I reluctantly, okay, guys, here's the Brevicorn eggs. And I wasn't paying attention. Well, one had hatched. And so literally on screen, I saw the Brevicorn. I figured it occurred to me the Brevicorn had hatched. It's like, I almost said something that had to be censored. It was such a cool moment, and I am so glad I was able to share it with you all. That was the coolest thing ever. Lives are my favorite. Do agree with Mikey Ben. Special moments. I'm glad to hear that. Angela loves the lives. Yeah. Yes, I've had 2 people call during my YouTube time with my Chameleon fam. Yeah, you know what? Leave them on hold. They don't get to interrupt this. Alicia, your journey with the egg was a great. Yeah, and then that's the thing. It's not just me. It's everybody. We followed Alicia the months that she was waiting for her egg to hatch, and we were there with her every step of the way, getting updates. We know when people get new chameleon. Every time Marsha and Renee get a new chameleon, okay, we know. And so this is what it means to be a community. And this is more special than likes, views, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm really happy with what we're doing here. And it doesn't matter what the digital candy says. We're building real relationships, real support here. And this is the best thing that could have come of the last 10 years of building the Chameleon Academy. So we are coming to, Nate says, my whole family knows about the lives. We call it the Chameleon Book Club. I like that. So everybody, that's it for tonight. This will let you know, Reptile Show Reporter tomorrow at the Reptile Show Reporter YouTube channel. That's kind of off the rails after hours. Don't expect anything useful to get done during that show. It's often Sean trying to do something and me trying to put in tangents and stuff, so we never get to the topic. So don't expect anything from that show other than us hanging out and being amused by each other. And let's see. Other than that, okay, we do have the next Saturday, we're going to have the Chameleon Workshop. And I think that's it. If you are going to the caves on for the 10th anniversary celebration in Utah at Clint's Reptile Room, make sure you get your tickets to the cave. Friday morning, we're going to a cave hike. If you signed up for that, get your ticket. If you are going but not going to the caves, if you're going to the whole event, not the caves, don't worry about it. Just make sure you have a plane ticket, your hotel, and we're ready for August 9th in the evening. And know that we are going to be broadcasting that live. So if you can't come, you can be on live. Just make sure. I will give a time in a couple of weeks. I'll let you know what time Saturday evening to block off, so you can be part of the 10th anniversary celebration through the live channel. So, whew. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Really special. I'll see you later. Have a good week. Let's see.